Have you ever felt pressured to give up something you believe in? Imagine that pressure cranked up to 100, where your very life is on the line. That's the heart of one of the most suspenseful stories ever told. Daniel in the Lion's Den. This isn't just an old tale. It's a masterclass in courage, faith, and standing firm when the world wants you to bow. Let's set the scene. Daniel wasn't just some ordinary guy. He was a top official in the mighty Persian Empire, known for his wisdom, integrity, and incredible skill. He served King Darius, and he was so good at his job that the king planned to promote him above everyone else. But as you know, success often breeds jealousy. The other high-ranking officials couldn't stand Daniel's favor with the king. They watched him like hawks, trying to find some dirt, some scandal they could use against him. But they found nothing. Daniel was flawless in his duties, honest to the core. Frustrated, his enemies realized there was only one way to trap him. It wasn't through his work, but through his faith. They knew Daniel was deeply devoted to his God. He prayed 3 times a day, every single day, without fail. So, they hatched a devious plan. They went to King Darius and, with flattering words, convinced him to sign a new law. This decree stated that for the next 30 days, no one in the entire kingdom could pray to any god or human, except the king himself. The penalty for breaking this law, being thrown into a den of hungry lions. The king, likely caught up in his own ego and not realizing the true motive, signed the decree. And under Persian law, once a king's decree was signed, it could not be changed. Now, what would you do? The law is set. The punishment is terrifying. Hiding your faith for just 30 days seems like a small price to pay for your life, right? You could just pray quietly, behind closed doors, where no one can see. But that's not what Daniel did. When he heard about the new law, he went home, opened his windows that faced Jerusalem, got down on his knees, and prayed, just as he had always done. He didn't hide. He didn't compromise. His faith wasn't something to be practiced in secret. It was the very essence of who he was. Of course, his enemies were watching. They caught him in the act and rushed to the king, gleefully reporting that Daniel, his most trusted advisor, had defied the royal command. The king was devastated. He realized he'd been tricked into sentencing his best man to a gruesome death. He spent the entire day trying to find a loophole, a way to save Daniel, but the law was ironclad. As evening fell, with a heavy heart, the king gave the order. Daniel was brought to the den. Imagine the scene. The snarling of hungry lions echoing from the darkness below, the fear in the air. The king said to Daniel, "May your God, whom you serve so faithfully, rescue you." Then Daniel was thrown into the den, and a massive stone was rolled over the entrance, sealed with the king's own ring. There was no escape. The king spent a sleepless night, fasting and worrying. At the first light of dawn, he rushed back to the den. With a voice full of anxiety, he called out, "Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God, whom you serve so faithfully, been able to rescue you from the lions?" And then a voice came from the darkness. It was Daniel. "O king, live forever. My God sent his angel, and he shut the mouths of the lions. They have not hurt me, because I was found innocent in his sight. Nor have I ever done any wrong before you, O king." The king was overjoyed. He ordered Daniel to be lifted out, and when he emerged, there wasn't a single scratch on him. His unwavering faith had been met with miraculous protection. But the story doesn't end there. Furious of the men who had plotted against Daniel, the king had them and their families thrown into the very same den. And the Bible tells us that before they even reached the floor, the lions overpowered them. This incredible story shows us the power of conviction. Daniel's faith wasn't just for the good times. He was tested under the most extreme pressure imaginable. He chose to honor God over his own safety, and in doing so, he experienced a deliverance that echoed through history. It's a powerful reminder that true courage isn't the absence of fear, but acting on what you believe is right, even when you're terrified. What do you think is the biggest takeaway from Daniel's experience? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into timeless tales. See you next time.